What's up, guys? Chaz here with Side Hustle Network. Tonight's episode, real quick, just wanted to come up here and share some thoughts. First and foremost, being that it's okay to hit pause. Sometimes you are going to hit these walls within life, within your business, where you need to hit pause. And for many of us in this world of entrepreneurship that we're all here on YouTube, TikTok, etc., all these social platforms, it's so easy to get caught up in constantly needing to focus on growth that we eventually lead ourselves to burnout. I've been there many times myself, and I kick myself for not acknowledging the different phases that you will go through. And if you keep constantly hitting these phases of being exhausted, being burnt out in your own business that you created for yourself, there's something that needs to adjust here. So, with my own experience, what I've come to realize is that I need to pay attention to the type of phase that I should be focusing on during that time. So, if I'm constantly pushing for growth, and I'm constantly hitting these huge walls and these huge dips of just feeling burnt out, sick and tired of being busy all the time, all these things that come about, while growth is going to bring that naturally sometimes, if it's a reoccurring thing in your life, you need to sit down and acknowledge which phase should you be focusing on currently. If you find yourself constantly exhausted, constantly fighting for that growth, you may actually need to sit down and pause for a minute. And what do I mean by that? The way that I view this as through our own experience in our own businesses, our own lives, there's three different phases that we acknowledge within our own personal world. There's a phase of decline, there's a phase of cruise control, and there's a phase of growth. Now, while we as entrepreneurs want to focus on growth, like I just mentioned, that comes with some downfalls. And if you don't know how to have controlled growth in implementing the right systems and strategies and staff along that way, that's ultimately what is going to lead to burnout. That's based on our own experience. So when I say it's okay to hit pause, what I mean by that is focus on hitting cruise control. If that is the phase that you absolutely should be focusing on right now and that your body and your mind needs, don't feel bad about hitting cruise control in your business and in your life. It's so easy nowadays on social media to scroll and see these people crushing it in their business and putting up big numbers, and you find yourself comparing yourself to them, and then you feel bad that you're not doing more. That is such a dangerous rabbit trail to be going down mentally. Now, when it comes to focusing on these phases, you should not be in a decline. Obviously, that is going to be a worst case scenario. There's something that needs to change if you are in a decline. So, for my wife, Tristan, and I, being on this entrepreneurship journey for roughly about 8 years now, we've learned that when we need to hit cruise control, it's okay. We're not going to kick ourselves for needing to just hit the brakes a little bit, slow down, reevaluate, reassess, build some new systems, whatever the case is. Right now in our own personal life, we're in this huge crossroads of we're picking up our entire life here in Oregon, taking our two kids and half of our business down to Texas with us. And for the last 6 months, while we could have easily doubled or tripled our business here in Oregon, we would have been pushing for this growth phase. It would have come with a lot of stress and headaches along the way. Then, when my wife Tristan and I would have left, we would have left a lot of that growth and stress on our manager and our staff, which ultimately, if they get burnt out, nothing is going to work, especially when we're going to be owners remotely. So we had to really sit down and just look at what phase should our business be in right now, what's going to be the best for it and the best for us long-term mentally. So we decided let's go on a slight decline, meaning we had to get rid of some clients. We had to downgrade the workload for the staff to be able to handle it while we're gone. Once we got down to the level that we thought was manageable without us being physically here in Oregon, we then hit cruise control. So we got new systems in place. We have enough staff hired to run those systems. We know exactly how many units, when it comes to Amazon FBA shipments, we know how many units need to go out each month to pay the bills, cover the overhead, pay the staff, salaries, all that good stuff. We fine tune the system that we have here in this warehouse now to where it's going to be on cruise control. And when our manager and our staff gives us the green light that they are ready to take on a little bit more challenge and grow, then we can filter some new clients down their way. So for the last 6 months, this is what my wife and I have been focusing on, is just how can we hit cruise control on this business here while still maintaining our sanity. And that's going to allow us to uproot, go to Texas, start our second warehouse location down there, and repeat the process. We've got to figure out staff, inventory, clients, all that stuff that comes with the business. We have to figure out how to get going in that growth phase and then ultimately find that cruise control point. And the whole point of this video and what even sparked this in my head was just talking to people through Instagram DMs, emails that I've gotten over the years, YouTube comments, etc. I have so many people that reach out and they're burnt out. And you might be watching this video because you're in that phase right now where you might be comparing yourself to other people on social media, thinking you should be doing more, when in reality, your body, your mind, your business might need you just to chill for a minute. Maybe you need to implement new systems that allows you to hit cruise control, because by figuring out the right systems in your business, that's how you're able to control growth along the way without having the headaches and the stresses that comes with it if you're unorganized. So the point of this video is just to break down the way that we view our own lives, our own business. You have a phase of decline, you have a phase of cruise control, and you have a phase of growth. And if you are trying to hang out in any one of those three at the wrong time, that's never going to be a healthy thing to do. So if you're pushing for growth, but you are so over it, you are so burnout and exhausted in your own business, hit cruise control. It's okay to hit pause without feeling bad about it. Sometimes you just need to take 2 or 3 days off. Sometimes you need to just go for a hike. Sometimes you need to go on an actual vacation for yourself. I can't tell you what you need in order to resolve that. But what I can tell you is based on our own experience, when we truly sit down and just take the time we need to recoup, sometimes that's a day, sometimes that's a 5 day trip somewhere, even if it's just a little staycation a few hours away from the house. When you take that time to really just reflect, look at the root cause of why you are burnt out. Is it that you're working too many hours? Is it that the type of work you are doing is not organized and is stressing you out? During that time of cruise control is when you should be focusing on finding the root causes of what led you to that burnout. So if you're burnout, focusing on growth, that's a very tough combo to face. Growth is going to come with being uncomfortable just naturally, but it shouldn't be this constant burnout. The type of burnout that I've experienced many times in my life, I just reflect back and think, why? Why was I pushing so hard, working so many hours for so long and not enjoying the process? If you aren't enjoying the journey of your own business, why? It's never about the end result of what your business is going to bring. We all want huge multi-million dollar businesses. It's never about the income that it brings. It's about the journey along the way, enjoying that process, especially when you get to a point of being able to quit your job. Best feeling ever. You know what's not the best feeling ever? When you quit your job to do what something that you love, like reselling on Amazon, eBay, but then you get into it and you're working 12-hour days, you're exhausted, and you get to the point where you kind of despise your own business. That doesn't feel good. So, if anything, out of this little mini mindset series, if you will, I want you to just sit down and just acknowledge which phase you are in right now in your business. And if you're in a decline, that's obviously just not good for anybody, right? No one wants or should ever be in a decline. So if you are on a decline, figure out why. Figure out what new habits and activities you should be implementing to get into kind of cruise control, right? Phase two. And if you're in cruise control, it's okay to hang out there. My wife and I are there right now. We're going to hang out in cruise control mode until we get our whole life uprooted and move down to Texas. From there, we're going to establish a new warehouse setup. We have to hire staff. We have to go through the whole process again. So we might be on cruise control for the next 6 to 8 weeks, however long it takes for us to get that warehouse going. But we know that when we get that lease signed, we are then switching into growth. We need to get that lease signed, get staff, get inventory coming in, and we're going to hit the ground running as soon as that happens. So we've already acknowledged we need this phase right now we're in of cruise control to, just as cheesy as it sounds, just enjoy life on a daily basis. We have 2 young kids. We're just enjoying so much of our daily life right now. of having very little responsibilities. Now, we still own and run multiple companies, but we have enough staff and systems in place that we don't need to be stressing over the day to day. So we're in a position that we lined ourselves up in and created this lifestyle where we can be in cruise control right now to just enjoy, to recover from all the last year of growth. And then once that new growth phase comes, we're well rested, we're thinking straight, we're not stressed, and we can go into it with a game plan. So just acknowledge where you are today and acknowledge if it's the right phase for you right now. Like I mentioned earlier, if you're pushing for growth, but you're burnout, ask yourself, is it worth it? You might need to just chill out for a minute. If you're pushing to double your business this year, it's okay to have a 20% increase. You don't need to double your business every year. So that might just mean take a weekend off. That might mean take a week and go travel somewhere. That might mean take a few months to just redo your entire business as far as systems go. And I can tell you from experience too, sometimes when we have truly just taken a step back and reevaluated our entire business model, those are the times that we've been able to see it more clearly because we took a step back. Sometimes we brought everything back down to the ground floor physically, as far as like where the shelves are up in our warehouse. It can be the same thing if you're working in your garage or a spare bedroom. Sometimes physically and mentally, just taking everything back down to a ground floor and then restructuring from there can be extremely valuable for you long term. And obviously we've got a bunch of resellers here that are on our YouTube channel. So that might be something like if you have a shipping station that you use for eBay and it's an absolute disaster and mess every single day, that is going to be cluttering your mind more than you think it is. That might be causing some stress for you. So literally go in there one day, take everything down, take everything out and bring them back in piece by piece on what you absolutely need for your shipping setup, and then optimize where your tape gun is, where your pen is, where your printer is. You have a nice, clean, organized, systemized setup. It's going to help you have so much less stress in your own business. There's a lot of rabbit trails I can go down with this, but I just want to close this episode just by hopefully inspiring at least one person to just hone in on where you are in your phases, whether that's decline, cruise control, or growth. Acknowledge if you are in the correct one you need to be right now. And if you're not, you need to sit down and reevaluate some stuff. I can't tell you what that is, but some of you might need to just sit down, take a minute, take a day, take a few days, and reevaluate your entire setup. That comes down to the setup of your physical business as far as bringing inventory in, prepping, listing, shipping, photos. Ultimately, for us as entrepreneurs, I think we can all agree that we would all love to be in a position where we are constantly in a phase of growth in our life and our business, but it's controlled, which in my mind, I view controlled growth as we have systems that are running that growth along the way. We have very little stress involved with it. It's not just about working more hours and hustle and grind and all those great words that we love to use in entrepreneur world. It's not just about more hours. It's working efficiently. It's working smarter. Controlled growth is a company that is growing fairly stress free. And that's an amazing environment to be in. I know that's what I'm striving for. So I just want to hop on here, share some thoughts about how my wife and I kind of view our business model, and we're constantly staying in tune with our own business, with each other on how we're feeling. Is one of us stressed? And if one is stressed, what's the root cause of that? Is it something in a system that can be fixed? Is it something external? We need to figure this stuff out before it gets too bad. So with all that being said, thanks for tuning in. If you have any further thoughts on this whole topic, I would love to hear those in the comments below. And if you enjoy this style of content, please let me know, because I would love to be able to produce more small little mindset episodes for you guys like this. Have an amazing evening. This has been Chaz, Side Hustle Network. Peace out, crew. See you later.